Another hearty hello from West Virginia. Hearty hello from somewhere anyways. Okay, what we have is joke of the day, and that's what we're confident about because you know I've got joke of the day ready for you and you're waiting for it because it's the best part of the day. So what do you call an alligator in a vest? An alligator in a vest. An investigator. Aren't these great? I love joke of the day. It is the best way to start the day. Okay, so what we're going to look at today is being able to multiply mixed numbers. We know how to multiply fractions. Well, what happens when we're multiplying mixed numbers? Well, first you have to understand that the only rules that we have are rules for multiplying fractions. That's it. And one of the nice things about math, I know a lot of people say, oh, math is so exhausting because there's so many rules. But actually, most of the time, what you do is you just add one new piece to the puzzle and you kick back to old rules that you already know. So I already know how to multiply basic fractions. Boy, it sure would be nice if I could just piggyback to that and maybe just take these mixed numbers and perhaps turn them into improper fractions and then go back to those multiplication rules. Well, that's exactly what we do because we already know how to multiply those basic fractions. So the steps then for being able to multiply mixed numbers is we're going to take those mixed numbers and we're going to turn them into improper fractions. And you know how to do that. You know how to convert your mixed numbers to impropers. You know that this means I'm going to multiply here and add here and keep that denominator. So 5 times 7 is 35. 35 plus 4 is going to be a 39, and I get a 39 over 5 for that improper fraction. And then on this one, I'm again going to multiply here and add here. So 13 times 2 is 26. 26 plus 4 is 30. And then notice what happens here is I am now multiplying a couple of fractions, which like I said, we know how to do because you are in my math gang. Remember, when we see that X for multiplication, we know that that means cancel in those diagonals, cancel up and down, and then shoot straight across because you are in my math gang. So what we're going to do, like I said, is turn them into impropers and then just go back to multiplying fraction rules. Go back to multiplying fractions rules. So that means, like I said, I'm going to cancel those diagonals, I'm going to cancel up and down, and then I'm going to shoot straight across. So when I look at this diagonal right here, is there a number that will go into 39 and 13? Don't let that one trip you up. Most of the time people say no, but 13 will go into 13 one time, and 13 will go into 39 3 times because 3 times 13 is a 39. Don't let that one fool you. Now let's check the other diagonal. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 36 times. But remember, I cancel on the diagonals, I also cancel up and down. Now I know that makes our gang symbol look really silly. This is cool, this ain't cool at all. But that's what you got to do in order to be able to multiply your fractions. It's okay, we're being silly anyways. So we're going to check up and down to see if anything cancels. 3 and 1, nothing cancels. 6 and 1, nothing cancels. So remember, once I've canceled on the diagonals, once I've canceled up and down, then I'm going to multiply straight across. So 3 times 6 will give me an 18. And then on that denominator, 1 times 1 will give me a 1. And you know you don't need to show that 1 in the denominator. This is just an 18. So that is how you multiply those fractions. Let's try one more just to make sure we feel totally comfortable with this. So like I said, the only rule I've got is my multiplying fractions rule. That's it. So I'm going to turn these into fractions and go back to that rule. So I'm going to multiply here and add here. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 1 gives me an 11 over 2. I'm going to multiply here and add here. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 plus 3 is a 28. Keep that superhero of fractions, that denominator. And now I'm going to multiply, which means yet again, oh, I'm loving my silly math gang. I'm going to cancel those diagonals. I'm going to cancel up and down, and then I'm going to shoot straight across. So when I check this diagonal, is there anything that'll go into a 5 and 11? Nope, there isn't. How about this one? Is there anything that'll go into 2 and a 28? Yes, there is. So 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 28 14 times. But remember, let's be really silly. Let's check up and down. So 11 and 1, nothing cancels. 14 and 5, nothing cancels. I'm now ready to shoot straight across and multiply across that numerator. Whoa, 11 times 14 is pretty big. That's 154. and then across that denominator is 5. Now granted, 154 is a big number, but we can deal with this. Much easier to deal with this 154 over 5 as opposed to if I would have multiplied 11 times 28. That would have been enormous. That would have been a 308 over 10. That would have been a little bit of a challenge. I'd rather just deal with this because 5 goes into 15 3 times. Now 5 won't go into 4, so I get a 0, but I will have a remainder of 4. See, I can do that in my head. That's not that hard. We can do this. All right. Now, one thing I want to point out is a lot of people are confused and they say, well, didn't you say that you like these impropers? Can I leave it as an improper? Well, rule of thumb is if you start with fractions, then you can decide whether you want to end with fractions or mixed numbers. But if you start with mixed numbers, then you definitely need to end with a mixed number. That is the general rule of thumb that you can keep things straight. But I do want to point out, remember, this, even though it's pretty big, 154 over 4, I don't have to think about will it simplify. I don't have to try to reduce that fraction. Because remember, I canceled on the diagonals. I canceled up and down. I 100% guarantee that if you will cancel on those diagonals and up and down as much as possible, this will be simplified. You won't even have to think about it. So you just turn it into a mixed number if you started as a mixed number. So I hope that helps with being able to multiply your mixed numbers. Like I said, I don't have any rules except for my multiplication of fractions rules. So I'm going to turn those mixed numbers into impropers and I'm going to go back to the rules that I know. I hope that helps. Have a great day.